But first, a few days ago, Mainers paused for Veterans Day to honor and thank those who've served in the military. The next day, in the small town of Phillips, family, neighbors, and other veterans gathered to honor one soldier who made the ultimate sacrifice and had to wait 79 years to finally come home.
207's Don Kerrigan and Sebastian Benage were there to capture the story.
It was 80 years ago that Zelwood Gravlin said goodbye to the town of Phillips, goodbye to his mother and family, and headed off to war. He would never return. And 4 generations of family, including great-niece Susan and her father, would never stop searching for Zelwood.
And before he died, he asked me if I would keep it going, and that's been 20 years.
And you've kept it going?
And I've kept it going.
And in a November rain, 79 years after he died,
Been a long time.
Susan kept that promise. In August 1943, Sergeant Zelwood Gravlin was in the Army Air Force, a gunner on a B-24 bomber. His 343rd Bombardment Squadron flew from Libya for Operation Tidal Wave to bomb the Ploiești oil fields and refinery in Romania, a critical target as the Allies tried to smash the powerful Nazi war machine. Zelwood's crewmates and their bomber, nicknamed Four Eyes, were one of 177 B-24s in the Ploiești raid. Flying just a few hundred feet above the ground, they unleashed their bombs. The target took heavy damage, but at a fearful cost for the Americans. 51 planes were lost, with more than 500 airmen. Zelwood Gravlin was one of them. But the family had no body to bring home.
And they wrote religiously back and forth, back and forth.
Susan says Zelwood's mother, her great-grandmother, was convinced at first her son had survived.
My great-grandmother never really believed that he was gone.
But in Phillips, reality finally hit home.
They sent his personal belongings to her, and the story goes, there was a letter in there that he had written 3 days before he died, was never sent. And when she got that letter, she wouldn't open it, but she knew he was gone.
Zelwood's mother never opened that letter and told the family to keep it sealed as long as she was alive. Not until more than 50 years later did Susan's uncle finally get it.
And he had been searching for years, and he got to open it in 2003.
I can't imagine what that must have been like.
When I read the letter, it was, Mom, stop sending me so much postage. And, you know, he had a sense of humor.
So it was just a normal letter.
Yeah.
She says that over the years, Zelwood's family kept pressing the government to keep searching. Then finally, just a few months ago, it happened.
July, they had found him.
Susan got a phone call from the Defense POW MIA agency.
He said, I hope you're sitting down. And he said, we found him. I thought he was joking at first because we got to know each other. I literally could not sit in my chair. It was surprising. Yeah.
Did you shout for joy? Did you break out in tears?
Kind of a little bit both. I said, we got him.
Zelwood's body and others had originally been buried in a Romanian cemetery. After the war, the Defense Department moved them to American cemeteries in Belgium. But no one knew who they were until this summer, when, with modern DNA technology, they were able to identify Zelwood Gravlin. MIA no more.
It reminds us of the ultimate sacrifice that those of us who put the uniform on are sometimes asked to make.
In a crowded Phillips Community Center, Maine's Adjutant General joined family members, neighbors, and others to celebrate Sergeant Gravlin's return. An honor guard of soldiers was there from Fort Drum in New York. There were medals, including the Purple Heart and the flag, with full military honors for a soldier lost so far away so long ago. Is this a happy day? Is this a sad day?
It's kind of bittersweet.
And there were Air Force officers, bomber pilots, and crew members from the 343rd Bombardment Squadron, which still exists today. They say Zelwood was and is a brother.
Once the historian told us that Sergeant Gravlin had been identified and provided us some of the details, it spread very quickly. And we knew instantly that we needed to be here today to honor him, his family, a fellow airman, and a brother who gave the last full measure for his country.
As the sun replaced the rain, there were final prayers for Sergeant Gravlin.
Lord, hear our prayer.
He's home. He's home where he belongs.
Laid to rest at last on a Maine hillside next to his mother and sister, who, like the rest of the family, never gave up hoping he would come home.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Susan White says that knowing her great-uncle Zelwood has finally been identified was like a cloud being lifted after so many years.
Across Maine and the country, there are still many thousands of families with loved ones missing and unaccounted for from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam.